The Children's Bible, Exodus 14 and 15, Crossing the Red Sea. Continuing their journey from Sukkoth, the children of Israel encamped at Etham, at the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to show them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they could travel by both day and night. He did not take away from the people the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night. And it was told the king of Egypt that all the people had fled. And the hearts of Pharaoh and his servants were moved against the people, and they said, "Why have we done this, and let Israel free from serving us?" Then Pharaoh made ready his chariots, and took his people with him. He took 600 chosen chariots of all the chariots of Egypt, and put captains over all of them. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and Pharaoh pursued the children of Israel, for the children of Israel had gone out proudly. The Egyptians came after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, his horsemen and his army, and overtook them camping beside the sea, near Phir-Hahiroth, before Baal-zephon. And when Pharaoh came near, the children of Israel looked up, and seeing the Egyptians marching after them, they were very frightened. Then the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, and they said to Moses, "Were there no graves in Egypt? Have you brought us away to die in the wilderness? Why have you treated us in this way in bringing us out of Egypt? Did we not tell you in Egypt, 'Let us alone so that we may serve the Egyptians'? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness." "Do not be afraid," said Moses to the people. "Stand still and watch the power of the Lord to save you, as he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you if you will be calm." And God said to Moses, "Why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. But you must lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry land through the middle of the sea. And you shall see that I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow you. Then I will show my power over Pharaoh, and over all his armies, his chariots and his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have shown my power." Then the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, moved, and went behind them. The pillar of cloud moved from in front of them, and rose up behind them. And it came between the camp of Israel and the camp of the Egyptians. But it gave light by night to Israel, so the Egyptians did not come near Israel all that night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back, by making a strong east wind to blow all that night. And it made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel walked into the middle of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall on their right hand and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and went into the middle of the sea after them, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. When morning came, the Lord looked down on the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and the cloud, and troubled the forces of the Egyptians. He made the wheels fall off their chariots, and made them drive heavily, so that the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from the children of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians." Then God said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may come together again, and cover the Egyptians, their chariots, and their horsemen." So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its bed when the morning appeared. The Egyptians fled before it, but the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the middle of the sea. The waters returned and covered the chariots, and the horsemen, and all the forces of Pharaoh that had followed them into the sea. Not one of them survived. But the children of Israel had walked on dry ground in the middle of the sea, and the waters had formed a wall for them on their right hand and on their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hands of the Egyptians, and the Israelites saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. When Israel saw the great work the Lord did against the Egyptians, the people stood in awe of the Lord, and believed in him and his servant Moses. Then Moses and the children of Israel sang this song to the Lord. "I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song. He has become my Savior. He is my God, and I will prepare him a house. He is my father's God, and I will exalt him. Who is like thee, O Lord of all the gods? Who is like thee, glorious in holiness? In thy mercy thou hast led forth the people thou hast saved. In thy strength thou hast guided them to thy holy dwelling. And Miriam, the prophetess, and the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and danced. And Miriam replied to them in song. And this is what she sang. Sing, everyone, to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea.